TCG Meta Slayer, guys. I just want to do a quick review of the Yamato starter deck. I already unboxed it and played a few games with it, and I will say I really like it a lot. I highly recommend it. It seems to be, along with the new Black Luffy, readily available. And for me, this was the first yellow deck that I actually played with and owned. I did try like an online, unofficial demo of the Big Mom deck, but I am also going to pick that up because I do like yellow. And what it offers a lot of life manipulation. This isn't seen so much in Dragon Ball anymore, unless you play a specific deck like the Blue Future Trunks. There's another one, I think there's like the Yamcha, red Yamcha can kind of manipulate it a little bit. And I also have a yellow Turles deck. But as far as being part of the color identity, there's not really a true color identity in Dragon Ball Super card game. However, in Digimon, which I also play, I did put together a yellow deck also to get, a feel of playing with the life manipulation mechanics. And again, trying to do the same here in One Piece. I want to have at least one deck that I can kind of, play with. So starting with Yamato, and I will definitely get the Big Mom. So now that I know how it plays and I like it. Now she's great because her ability basically says when you have 2 or less life, when she has a Dawn, on the opponent's turn, she's plus 1,000. So she's permanently like a 6k later in the game. So she's definitely a lot more of like a defensive and survivability style of deck. Not really like fast and offensive. I wouldn't even say something that is quite, mid-range. It's more like you want to try to get into the late game. And we'll see how that works against, whatever decks are out there. So really quickly, just comes with a bunch of like basic, a nice curve, like 2 drops here, 2 for 4,000 with Momonosuke in his dragon form. I really like this character from Wano, especially since it's a dragon, more of like the Asian dragon style, but really cool. Sorry, excuse me, throw this dry 1 second. Okay, we're back. So now, that's cool. Great Monkey D. Luffy here, 3 for 5. They're both Land of Wano. This one is Straw Hat Crew, so compatibility perhaps with that in the future. They haven't done too much yet with the special and like the strike and the different kinds of attacks, but maybe we'll see more of that in the future. This is the one advantage it has over, Dragon Ball and Digimon, is they gave it like its own unique attack type. So we'll see how that works in the future. But anyways, 3 for 5. It's great seeing Luffy activating his haki. And then we have a nice R2 for Yamato. These are very similar to what you would probably see, in the colored manga. This is a little bit more comic book style, but again, it's still nice. It's not Eiichiro Oda. It's not his exact style, which for me is like a hit or miss. What I like about Dragon Ball Super card game is it's all artwork that emulates Akira Toriyama's work, and even Toyotaro, I believe his name is, the new manga artist. Whereas this, you can only get certain cards that have that manga look, which are, my favorites. But anyways, then you have a character here who helps you with the life manipulation. Obviously, it's the leader character. Now this one here, basically, you only want to use her ability if you need to get to that 2 life threshold, basically. So that's what's nice about her. She can pump up into a 5,000 for the turn, and again, you can take a life if you want to activate this. Could be good in other yellow decks too, or you want to kind of decrease your life for 1 turn or something like that. This guy here, Omusubi, is another samurai from Wano. Pretty decent for a trigger. The only thing is, you kind of only are going to be able to hit a blocker that costs 1, but the nice thing is you get to KO a blocker, and you get to take it into your hands, so he becomes at least a counter. So this is actually really exceptional in the right matchups. Great card. I also want to add that she is a 2k counter, so this is probably a card that you'll see in a lot of yellow decks, just for the fact that it is a 2k counter, if that. We also have Shinobu here. This is another card I thought is decent. It is the blocker for the deck, but what's nice is, again, lets you manipulate your life if you want to go down to the 2 life threshold, and kind of can help her survive if you're blocking like a big attack from a big character that might hit you again next turn, especially double strike. I mean, it's kind of funny because if you block a normal attack and you take a life, it's kind of like you might as well have taken the attack anyway, so to speak. But I mean, again, against double strike, that's where something like this will be really, really good. But at the same time, again, if you want to get to that 2 life threshold, it might make sense. Actually, wait, no, I just explained why it doesn't make sense, because you would just take the 1 damage. But she's basically more for people that double strike. But again, if you have any other uses for her, please comment down below. This Kaido card is also awesome just for the fact that we see him as a dragon. It is a little bit more of like a digital art comic style, but still really cool to see him. And this one is also a decent attacker. I don't know if this is something that would be technically meta. I mean, you could give him a Dawn to make him 6k when you attack, and then as long as he has that Dawn for the opponent's turn, they can't KO him by attacking him. So if it's a deck that you're playing where you're starting to get the advantage for being the aggressor, and they don't really have ways to just straight up KO with skills, then it'll be hard for them to remove this guy. So it could be good in the right matchups, but you know, decent for the starter deck. Then of course we have another nice ulti card here. Unfortunately a little bit too exaggerated. I'm not really a fan of that, you know, female anatomy body style, but it is a 4 for 6,000, so you know, it's pretty decent. Then we have Uzuki Tempura. This guy also is decent with a trigger, because you can rest again a blocker, this time with 2. You don't get rid of it, but you still get to bring this back to your hand, and then you can either play him or use him as a counter. So a nice trigger there. I really like this Yamato here. Looks kind of almost like American style 80s retro, I don't know, coloring book or cartoon, but excellent still. And just a 5 for 7,000, so we got a heavy hitter late game. Really, really nice. Shimotsuke Ushimaru. This guy is decent. Another one of the ones that lets you manipulate your life. No counter, unfortunately. But what I like about this is I like the free play characters. So basically, again, you don them up, you attack, and then you get to play someone that costs 4 or less from Land of Wano, which obviously is a lot of people, you know, not Kaido, unfortunately. But like the other samurais and stuff like that, even this Luffy, for example. So could make some good accelerated plays for sure. So definitely a great card, as long as you have a Land of Wano package in there. Portgas D Ace. This was also a surprise. Not really a fan of the digital art on this one, but still great to have a card of Ace, and it's yellow. And of course, with the anime, he is tied into the storyline, and you quickly find out how. I'm not going to spoil it, but you quickly find out how when the Land of Wano arc begins. Essentially, he's pretty nice because he's another heavy hitter late game. Again, you want to kind of stay in the late game with her, and he basically says that if he gets KO'd, you can trash a card from the top or bottom of your life instead. So risky again, but if it guarantees you another character to attack with and win next turn, could be worth it. You can only do it once a turn, but having a 7k guy that is hard to remove, always a plus. One of my other favorite cards, I think this one looks amazing. Actually, I really like this card. We got the Kozuki Oden. Now this is a guy that, again, for late game, pumps up to 8k with the Dawn 1, and then gets double attack. And of course you can, you know, give him more Dawn, but he's definitely minimum going to be like 8k each attack, and you know, to get the double attack. And great thing is when you KO him, you can kind of pricey because there's not a lot of card draw, but with just straight yellow, but you can trash 2 cards to get another life back. So that's really cool. Yeah, from the top of your deck. So that's great. And then this card here is interesting because the Narikabura arrow, it has that same trigger ability to trash 2 cards to add a card from the top of your deck to your hand. So I think this is going to be worth running for 4. I'll probably pick them up because, again, you know, if you're holding on to like 2 of them or whatever, you know, playing one and then having one to discard and another card gets you back a life to keep you in the late game. So really nice. I wish they did include 4 of those already. And we have here a yellow version of Thunder Bagua. Obviously, I you know, you have it in the purple Kaido deck if you play purple. But this one is a trigger draw card, but still gives you the counter. But the nice thing is here, if you have the 2 or less life, you can add up to one of your opponent's characters that cost 3 or less and remove it basically by putting it into their life, which I don't know, that's kind of good in Digimon, but with that effect, it's usually like any opposing Digimon. This one is kind of, I think, a little bit useless, so to speak, because it has to be 3 or less, and then basically you give them a life on that, you know, turn. So on your turn, you're attacking them and you've kind of helped them out. So unless there's more synergy with this in the future or there's other ways to win, I don't really feel like it's good to give your opponent life. Nevertheless, it's still okay for a trigger and you can still counter for 40k. So in that regard, I would still use it. But again, probably wouldn't find too many situations to get rid of an opponent's character unless it's a really annoying character that's just netting them plenty of card advantage or giving them some kind of crazy combo or something or whatever. Then yeah, it can definitely be a good last resort option. Well, there you guys go. There's the Yamato deck. I think as a starter deck overall, it's pretty well-rounded and really takes advantage of Yellow's abilities. So highly, highly recommended. If you haven't played Yellow, give it a try. And also, you know, good to know that if you're a fan of Yamato and these characters here, you get a nice blend of the land of Wano. You get like Ace and Luffy and stuff. Then it'll be wonderful to just be able to play with those characters. Let me know in the comments below how you guys maybe have built your deck out. Again, I'm going to get the Big Mom Pirates deck next so I can start combining in, I guess, my favorite optimal yellow package. And I might still use Yamato. I'll have to see. I know there's the Kakari leader and, of course, the Big Mom. And I know Kokiri is good, so we'll see who I decide to play with. Or maybe I can split into 2 yellow decks. But let me know what you guys think. All right. Don't forget, keep it faith, say a prayer, spread that love, be positive, be thankful. Coming back at you. Peace.